God didn't make man and woman with the thought of polygamy in mind. That wasn't the original design. In his blueprint, you were supposed to have one man and one woman, and that's it. Over time, man decided to do his own thing, but God has always had it planned for one man and one woman. The whole point is for us to get back to how things were in Eden. And how things were in Eden, it was one man and one woman, not polygamy.
Fellas, we all back. Hey, y'all ready to chop into this thing? Yeah. Roll the intro.
Pull up with the stick, yeah. She said she wanna be up on my team, but she can't love me, yeah. Really, she don't want a man, she want a gummy bear.
Now, fellas, for me, I tend to stay away from this is poly righteous thing, or if it's, something that's allowed in the Bible, simply because we as men, or just as intellectual beings, already know, even with a first grade reader's level, clearly it's way too many cases that the Father willingly allowed himself, or willingly allowed that process to be used for his purpose. And so this is one of those debates here in 2024, for those who follow the pagan year, that we're kind of better than. And the ones I see keeping it alive are beta simp men who've been raised by their mama. Because I don't know, man. This dude kind of seemed weak to me, dog. Straight up. And that there's a thing. I'm not saying that a single mom cannot raise a man to go out there and get a job and, pretty much do what the system has designed for us to do. But quite often, he's going to be weak in some of the most quintessential places. Emotional intelligence, emotional stability, he's going to be weak. Always sighing with his woman like Fontaine, Megan Thee Stallion's old thing. You see how that played out for him? This guy goes and get feminism tatted on him. What type of mental illness does this man have that will possess him to tat feminism on him? Oh, he was raised by a woman, huh? And a lot of bittered and embittered women. And a lot of these women are either not married, unmarried, have not been married, divorced, or are married and very unhappy. That's what I see from this debate. But I do realize that from new year to new year, there are men who are waking up to everything the Father has promised or allowed them to have access to still here on earth. And so I don't want those young men to see something like this and think this is the wave. First off, you notice one thing this brother did not do is quote you from the book. He did not open up your father's, my father's, our father's book and give you any precepts, brother. Now, these women like to get into original design, and let's talk about that. You go back to Genesis, and here we in Genesis chapter 2. The name of this chapter is the creation of man and woman. Now you got some that are say, oh yeah, it says that, in his image he created man and woman, and don't stop there. And they'll never go back and read this source here, because that was a clip note version that we got from the brother Moshe. This is an in-depth account. So if you want to talk about original design, in verse 7 it says, then the Lord Yah formed the man of dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living creature. Alright, and if you keep reading, it says, in the east there he put the man whom he had formed. We don't know anything about Eve right now. And out of the ground Yah made to spring up every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life. Listen, we can keep going. Eve has not yet been created. Why is she not created with Adam in the original plan? Verse 10 talks about a river, the rivers that flowing out that came into 4 riverheads. Verse 11 goes on and give you the names of each 4 of the rivers. Verse 12 talks about the gold in the land that is good, the stones that are there in conjunction to the first river. And all of these verses down to verse 14 are giving you geographical locations as to where the garden may have been. And we still don't hear a peep about Eve. in verse 15, here Adam gets his first job. It says, Yah took the man and put him in the garden to work it and keep it. And we still don't see anything about Eve. Then Adam gets his first commandment, saying, man, you shall surely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. Then, after Adam's made, after we read about the rivers and where they're at and how you can find them and the 4 rivers, and then after Adam gets a job and he gets his first commandment, fellas, I want you to pay attention here. Because there are some things in your life that before you even have a woman be brought unto her, you must have in motion. And we're talking about original design here. F what these embittered women are speaking about. There are some things as a man you want to already have in motion. Then your father will bring you that woman. She will be brought to you. She will be part in front of your trajectory or placed in your direction. And this is when Yah says, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him. So again, if we're talking about original design, that championing monogamy, why wasn't Eve created to begin with? Why wasn't Eve created? Why does it seem like Eve may have been a slight afterthought? A perfect one created in her day, straying from that purpose, of course, but perfect nonetheless, and an afterthought of that. She was not created with Adam during Adam's time. Adam already had all the quintessential things that men need to thrive down here on earth. He had a place, he had a job, he had a purpose, he had a relationship with his father. Adam was set, and then Yah said, oh, wait a minute, we can make this even better. Fellas, I don't want you to get caught up into this whole debate. And not for nothing, the lady who made this post, I know her or know of her. And I know that she had a situation, tried her hand at love or what she perceived it to be, and it was in a multi or a poly situation, and it didn't work out. I think maybe lasted a month or two. And I also know some of the women who are in the comments. You know one thing they all have in common, my brothers? They do not have youth to give men. They do not have a clean, Scotch, unblemished free spirit or heart or mind or body to give man. If she were to have a husband fit for her, she may not be fit for him. Why? Because what you would want to give him or what he would need, you already have given to others. And once they take certain things from the women, you can't get it back. That there's truth. This is why the woman in her youth must protect her chastity. She must protect her body. Once these things are given away, you're never going to get them back. Especially if you do not have the true love of Yahshua flowing through you, which we see most people on, and in this case the women. The matter of the fact is that these women are so upset, and cannot wrap their minds around the fact that a man, their man, her sister's man, whomever, can take as many women as he likes. And you have no office in the Bible to complain about it. You can't say anything because the Father never did, and hasn't, and won't. You hate and despise the fact that the Father, that Yah himself, why would he use such an institution? Why didn't he just use monogamy? Well, if you go back to the original design, since you guys love the original design so much, we see monogamy fell epically in this same chapter that I'm reading from. In this same book that I'm reading from. They championed Eve in his comments, but Eve only knew one head. No, Eve knew more than one head because she did not listen to her man. This monogamous woman did not listen to her man in a monogamous relationship. Do not come and preach and teach and try to instruct me about original design that you were not originally a part of. You're going to have to get over the fact that it is what it is, sweetheart. You are sounding very old and bitter. I hope them cats keep you warm at night. Last thing on this subject while I'm on it, brothers, is that, listen, what woman, now that you have gotten to the best version of yourself, like Adam did, what woman would even be worthy of that by herself? Just you two. Is she a virgin? Eve was a virgin. Are you the first one to penetrate her mind, spirit, body? Does she have baggage? Eve didn't have any baggage. She got any baggage from any situation in life, any bad experiences. Eve didn't have any of that either. You are not that close to the original design of Eve to then champion to be where she was at. And even when she was there, she still fell. These are the times that I will quote, I believe it's the brother Paul says, women, you probably should learn in silence. I understand that social media has given everybody a voice and a platform, but I think honestly, bro, both men and women, it's just some certain things you probably just need to shut up on, man. Like I said in these comments, because I normally don't comment on these subjects, but in the days that are coming, bro, in these last days when the plans roll out, how many of these embittered old women you think will be talking about this same thing? Probably not many. You'll be too busy truly then fighting for survival with probably no man in sight, because only wives get protection, covering, leadership, direction. But I digress. Now, another thing I tried to steer away from is covering celebrity gossip or what's taking place with these so-called celebrities. One, the word celebrity comes from the word celebrate, and I still cannot find a reason as to why we celebrate these people in the manner that we do. Because they can dribble the ball, or you do realize that like most of these celebrities, you can do what they do at that level, if not better. You just haven't signed up to get down with their system. You just haven't signed up to sell out to their programming and their brotherhoods and their covens and the entire nine. So you don't get the devilish machine behind you. So why do we celebrate them again? And then we see them betray our trust. We see them betray our loyalty. We see them betray the fact that we may even put our children before them. Time and time and time again, they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar doing some risky, zesty behavior, or something that we wouldn't approve of, or some type of pedophilic act, or something that shows you that they can be controlled, and because they can be controlled, they really should not be trusted. But whatever. Usher and Alicia Keys had their performance at the Super Bowl, bro, and I gotta say, I'm super proud of the men who realized that hug, that grab from the back with a married woman ain't platinum. Now you see, when this guy did this with Keke Palmer, we talked about it, and of course you had a lot of women championing that kind of behavior. They felt like, hey, well, she needs this. It's a good look. Let her have fun. Okay. What is Miss Keys? I'm gonna call her that. You can't call her Mrs. Beats. She's married, bro. What are you doing looking so comfortable with a man in this junk behind your rump? And I hate to know what your simple husband may have said when you came home, or if he said anything, because why would you even think that would have been allowed? Had that been any other woman that I seriously deal with and seriously deal with me, no matter how many cameras was looking, dog, no matter how many people were in attendance, they would have stopped, turned around and said, not cool. In the most polite, the most ladyish, the most respectful manner, would have let him know, nah, that ain't cool. Whether I was there or not. I mean, I hope you have women who would respond like that and not react like she did, because really there was no reaction. Her reaction was that there was no reaction. So you know what that means? She's very comfortable with these type of situations. And I would seek to hold Usher up to our standard, but we know that he's not. This guy's been with Diddy since he was, 12 and 13. That man's booty hole didn't have a chance, dog. I don't even think he knows what real manhood looks or even feels like. His mama signed him up, and then he went from the care of a woman to the care of Diddy and Clive Davis and Babyface. Bye. So I can't say man. So I can't even hold this brother up to, because he ain't us, dog. But this woman that they project and parade, and it's crazy too, because in the black community, they call her the home wrecker. I remember I was with An older chick during the time that whole situation with her Swizzy and Swizzy's first wife jumped off. You know how many women, especially black women, took that personal? I mean, there was a show, I think it was with real love, hip hop, something like that, when it like first came out. And when her name was Mashonda or something like that, so many women, especially black women, identified and empathized with her to the point where they stopped listening to Alicia's music. They stopped going to her concerts. They stopped watching her videos and all that jazz. And they called her the homewrecker. I told you, I mean, this can be done in righteous cases, but quite often than not, women will take on something that happened to another woman and put themselves in it because they can identify. This is another thing, man. If you guys are dealing with blemished vessels and you want to express or exude some of the attributes that your father has given you access to, let's say it's in the case of taking on another woman, but another man has given her a different experience, she's going to liken you to him. That's what's going to happen. And you're going to deal with that monster that goes from yesterday's past. Well, if you were to have a virgin of every front, not just in the body, but the mind, the spirit, you wouldn't be dealing with that. And you could spend the time that you would be contesting with this woman doing something way more productive for the kingdom. Either going out there ministering to younger men, showing them how to, maybe change oil or grow a garden, or how to engage in hand-to-hand combat, or how to rise up in the ranks of business, and how to set up an LLC. Anything that you can do, brother, because all you men have something to give. And the more time you spend in ways dealing with these blemished vessels that we call our women, it's taken away from that. You don't get that time back, bro. But the women like Alicia Keys are a representation of modern day women, and they will see nothing wrong with this. And that should let you know just how far we've moved from the moral needle. The fact that you have to point this out and may have to do it more than one time for her to even see what's the big issue. The fact that you don't see the big issue, sweetheart, that there is the big issue. Cause she's for the streets or the meat rack. Give her back. Hit her and give her back. And I'm saying even in these last days, they may not even be worth the sack, cuz. I ain't gonna cap to you, dog. Listen, I done had some women leave that I was tied to, you understand? After that, like, first initial, I would see about, 5 to 6 months, man. And every man got a different time frame, but like 5 to 6 months. You've been tied to a woman. After 5 or 6 months, it's a wrap for me. Like, every vestige, any tie, anything, it's just gone. And if I've dealt with you before and it still didn't work out, it's going to be less than 5 to 6 months. It may be 5 to 6 days. And I'm cool. Don't look for me to hit you up when I'm in your city to see if that thing's still looking pretty. I'm cool, because the value, the exchange, because that's what sex is. It's an exchange, among other things. But the exchange will always be an uneven one. Well, the life that I'm putting into you, in both energy and in seed and semen, time, is not worth back what you're giving me. This isn't even kitty cat that has never been touched by any other but me. I can see it, man, 6-7 years after the split, yeah, because ain't nobody else touched it. This is why there's a verse in the Bible that stipulates that if she leaves or they split and somebody else touches it, bro, listen, she's been desecrated. Ugh. That's what they tell you in so many words. Let it go. But I forgot, you women hate the word. You like original design, but you hate the original word. But brothers, if you got a woman like that, or identifies with Alicia, or does not see the flaw in that character, in that dynamics on stage, I'm telling you now, dog, run for the hills. And don't stop at the watermills. And you best not seal that deal. You let somebody else put a ring on that thing. Not us. Hey, brothers, man, y'all be safe, be blessed, bro. We got a new year coming up this spring. Passover's right around the corner, and I feel real good. I don't know about you guys, but I feel real good. Praise y'all. Y'all stay blessed. Love y'all.
With the stick, yeah. She said she wanna be up on my team, but she can't love me, yeah. Really, she don't want a man, she want a gummy bear.